Got to bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome back to another Commercial Truck Chronicles. I'm Swizzy, your boy. I'm going live right now. Good morning. Good morning to you. Give me a second because my camera is I gotta get a new phone. It's either that or I use my computer. I'll give you guys a minute to join me before I start the topic. And you're going to want to stick around because the discussion is going to hopefully give you some help you answer some unanswered questions. People will kind of understand what's going on, man, because it's almost like you can't really figure out too much of what's happening these days because there's so much happening and none of it makes sense. But I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help it make some sense for you. But what you got to realize and you have to learn how to do is, like with anything, of course, you need to be doing research. Of course, you always want to follow the money. You always want to follow the money. You always want to follow the breadcrumbs that's going to lead you to, any plot or any, demise. So just give me a second. I'm trying to find something. I'm looking at my page over here. So I'm trying to pull it up. Okay, there we go. Okay, going. Let's rely. Add to queue. All right, there I go. It's a little delayed. It's a little delayed with the camera. I can't even hear myself. If you can hear me, let me know you can hear me. Okay, yeah. It's delayed. It's delayed. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the camera when I'm talking. Still can't hear nothing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to see if I can share this screen. Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm trying to learn how to try something else. I'm going to see if I can share this screen. Can you hear me now? I'm trying to learn how to try something else. I'm going to see if I can share this screen. I wonder if I should just move this back here. Is that better? I wonder if I should just move this back here. Hey, good morning, Jason. Josie. Appreciate you guys for joining me, man. Hey, good morning, Jason. Josie. Do you hear the echo? It's a little delayed. How do I sound? Josie. Beanie Cakes. How you doing, Beanie Cake? How do I sound? Beanie Cakes. How you doing, Beanie Cake? Let's turn this down. How do I sound? There's got to be a delay to echo. Let me turn it down. Beanie, how do I sound, Beanie Cake? Let me know how I sound. How you doing? And I appreciate you guys for joining me. Okay, sound perfect. Jackson. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for joining, man. So I'm trying something new because, of course, if you watch any of my videos in the past, some of it has a glare to the film and stuff because of the light or the camera got messed up. So now I'm just trying something different. I'm using my desktop as the background, so I can't look at the screen on my phone. I turned it around, but I can see what's going on with the computer. So that should kind of get me through today. What I want to talk about with you guys is a couple of things I've did some research on, and this has to do with your your financial sector, your blockchain and everything, and all the stuff that they are just now starting to do with the Trump and all the coins and all the cryptos and everything, and all the billionaires are making money. You know, what about us regular people, right? And people are really scared to, you know, they've been kind of shaken out of the markets. Bitcoin done crashed down from like 115,000 to like 80 something thousand dollars. So that's over 40,000, I would say, for some people to experience that loss. It's got to be um, it's got to be really upsetting, but psychologically, you need to be prepared to take those losses, you know, with this type of investment because it's very volatile. But if you hold on to your cryptos, I'm pretty sure that the price will recover, and then you won't lose the money. If you sell, you lose. You only sell. You only lose when you sell. Yeah, we do need the money. You're right, and I know I do. And so here's the thing about it, right? Because everybody's so pretty much a lot of people they're scared. Fear they either don't have knowledge of the market, how it works, how to custody the crypto. They don't want to get scammed. They don't want to be frauded and stuff like that. Supposedly the SEC is here is a branch of the government, Securities and Exchange Commission, to protect the investors. So to make sure that some of the bad actors are not out here taking your money and running away with it. Um, so for some years we've had crypto been, you know, kind of binded up in the court system, all right, until this current administration and all the, you know, the big boys come to the table and sat down and said, well, we want to regulate it so that we can begin to start, you know, utilizing some of the benefits that the blockchain technology has to offer. Of course, um, a lot of money is kind of tied up, or you know, there's a lot of friction when you send and receive money, and that's due to a lot of the legacy banking practices. Settlements don't settle or don't hit the accounts until days later, and in this society that we move in, that we live in right now, money needs to be able to move as fast, as seamless, without all the you know, wait. Just like you send a text message, they you know said, well, we need to speed up to the next level 3.0, Web 3.0, whatever the case is, so that we can get these remittances and these payments and send this money. Um, and there's like, you know, it's cut and dry. It's not check not bouncing. If the funds are available, you can send it and it's there. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you and me? Okay. Because like I said, the big boys are coming to the table. They want to make sure that, I don't even need these. The big boys are coming to the table, sitting down, and they want to make sure that, you know, when they put all their money in, that they, you know, they're not missing out. Okay, all transactions are verified, and how you doing over there from Russia? They later people might get not see a thing, or you said because they need it more than I do. And you know what? That's a noble thing to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Charitable act never goes unnoticed, even though, you know what I'm saying, it's probably was done in private. And so that's the other thing about these ledgers, this new technology and stuff, because they have a private and a public ledger, centralized and a centralized exchange. So I want to move forward and kind of bring you to the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm going to give you some information that you can go look up for yourself, because you do need to do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, so do not buy, sell, or trade anything that you might hear me mention over here, because you know, you got to realize that you might just lose it all. And I don't want you to come back to me and say, well, He told me, that I didn't tell you anything. I just gave you some information to go research for yourself. How about that? So, first thing on the list I want to tell you about is it's called Tell. Well, what I'll do is I'll read you this article. This article says a lot. This is big news, man. This is big news for you and me, you know? Um, because, you want to ask yourself, well, what is this, how do what the big boys sitting down going to do? They're billionaires. How do we get this money? And of course, they don't want to get scammed or robbed or frauded by anything. So, of course they're making sure that they do their due diligence and do the research. Okay. But aside from them doing that, what this current administration has been doing was pushing for legislation, pushing for the Clarity Act, and pushing, you know, for regular audits so that these banks are not insolvent, so that these sites where people are holding their assets. And that's why I'm saying a lot of people like yourself or a common guy like myself, not a big time investor at all, but, may have some money that I can't really afford to lose. Right. So I choose to self custody because I can't, I don't have that faith in these, different sites that you can go to and maybe, purchase some cryptos. And it could be a well-known site like a Coinbase or a Robinhood or something. But, I'm pretty sure they're not guaranteeing your assets are safe. Like if they file bankruptcy and crash, like you lose it all. You lose it all. So something recently just happened that just broke the way. I mean, it just shattered what we were just thinking. Like, oh man, I'm gonna lose all my crypto if this site goes down. Right? The very first United States bank has opened, and they have been granted the. I'll read the article. I'm gonna read the article. Okay. It's called Tell Coin, and tell someone. Go out and tell somebody because it's funny, man. It's like it could be an inside joke. Like, okay, they're laughing, chuckling, and laughing while everybody else just misses out. Telcoin makes U.S. banking history with approval to launch the first regulated digital asset bank in the United States. The first bank. Telcoin today announced, and this article was posted November the 12th. So this has been at least a week, 10 days, 12 days. Okay. But this is what we were waiting for. This is what we were waiting for when they passed the Clarity Act that they were working on over there and getting those votes to be able to regulate this market, okay, by the CFTC or the who's that? That the it's on the tip of my tongue. The Exchange Commission. Gary Gensler and his goons. I forget who they are. If you can help me out with that. The SEC, right? Securities and Exchange Commission, right? They were overseeing a lot of cryptocurrency companies, forcing them to go out of business, slapping them with lawsuits, put a lot of fear in the markets, and some projects that otherwise would have probably helped with the global infrastructure or just putting, updating and upgrading, from the old legacy system to the new system. A lot of those companies they folded because they were hit with lawsuits, and that was just kind of to trip people up during the early phase of blockchain technology becoming going mainstream. Now it's mainstream. Okay, Telcoin today announced its final charter approval from a Nebraska Department of Banking and Finance to launch Telcoin Digital Asset Bank, the first digital asset depository institution in the United States. That's big news. Okay, the charter positioned Telcoin. The charter positions Telcoin to be the first true blockchain bank. Now, because they have the regulation, because they've been given the authorization, the approval, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so they are the first bank. They're the first bank here in the United States that can custody your crypto. There's a lot of products that they're offering too. I mean, you talk about you want to borrow money or lend money. Let me finish reading this, okay? Directly connecting U.S. bank accounts to regulated digital cash stable coins. And remember, they had the Stable Coin Act that they were passing over. They were working on that over there as well. And in the White House, Congress, they were trying to get these laws, these bills passed and to Donald Trump's desk so he could sign them into law. All right. This flagship product, the EUSD, this, I guess, the electric United States dollar, or the EUSD, it's like e-commerce, okay? So this flagship product, EUSD, will be the first bank issued on-chain US dollar stablecoin offered, the US dollar stablecoin offering consumers and businesses a secure, compliant way to use digital cash for payments, remittances, and savings. Notably, is also the first bank charter to explicitly authorize connecting U.S. customers to DeFi. So you have DeFi and you have you have a DeFi and you have DeFi. Decentralized, CeFi is centralized, and DeFi is decentralized. So I'm gonna say CeFi. It's just they made a terminology of decentralized finance, or DeFi. Or you have CeFi, which is centralized finance. A centralized finance is your traditional bank. So this links the two together, okay? It offers a lot. You can go look this up and read it for yourself. I mean, I can read more and more and more of this to you. It talks about the Genius Act, okay? But what I want to get to is, let's just take a look at where crypto was a year ago. A year ago. I know you had Ripple Labs and XRP still going back and forth with the SEC and the lawsuit, which, and like I said, there was a lot of negative just a lot of negative a lot of negative energy surrounding the whole, the blockchain period, because of course, it was being resisted by the billionaires, the big people, the people that did not, the traditional centralized banking system, that did not want to see the decentralized or centralized, ecosystem get regulatory clarity. And so they were actually going to court over all of this, which, at the end of the day, they were trying to say that one of these cryptos was a security, and it wasn't. So it was not supposed to be sold on the open market. To people like you and me, that's why I'm saying this makes so much sense, that it would be on the open market. So it's open to your bank. You can go into the bank and say, hey, I want to invest in NVIDIA. I want to invest in some of this crypto. I want to invest in some of these things. So you can also have, an opportunity to build some wealth with within your within your bank, right? Using crypto, and you don't have to just use a traditional methods, which are stocks or bonds or you know stuff like that. So it talks a lot more about that and what a lot of the products are that they offer, and their affordability. And so you can open up a bank account there. They have a banking app that you can also download that will show you how you can, gain yield on some of your crypto assets that you can, they will custody. And I do believe that is FDIC insured up to $250,000. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. So, um, renovating the financial banking system, the global financial banking system, because this is going to connect banks around the whole entire world are going to start using this technology on the ones that come on chain, right? More and more banks. And then I think JP Morgan and one of those, they just went 100% full-fledged into blockchain technology too. So what you're starting to see is a lot of infrastructure. They're just gutting out the old system. And then I said, it's crazy to think that you want to get this information out. It's called Tailcoin. That's the first bank, the tail bank, but the coin is a Tailcoin. So you want to tell people. I don't know why people are not telling people, or maybe the word is getting out, is slowly getting out there. It takes a little bit of time. But then I sat back and I asked myself, I said, you know what? This guy's over here renovating the freaking White House. He's ripping out everything, and they're mad. Everybody's mad. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing that. Behind the scenes, low-key, subliminally, right? They're gutting out the freaking financial system. That's what he's doing. He's doing it right in front of your eyes. He's literally launching his own crypto. He's taking the whole banking system and just completely and they're all getting on board. They are all getting on board, bro. All of them. JP Morgan saying, all right, he was going to fire his own employees for buying crypto at one time while he was secretly buying it himself. You see what I'm saying? So that gives you an idea of how they play the game. Right? So if you really want to see where you fall on the board, a pawn is going to be a pawn. A rook is going to be a rook. You know what I'm saying? A bishop is going to be a bishop. Like, you really literally have to look at this and like, are they playing checkers? Are they playing 3D or 4D chess over here? Right? So do me a favor. Hit the like button. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. But I'm trying to tell you, this is happening whether you vote for it or don't. They're going to revamp. They are revamping the financial system, the global financial system. That's why they're meeting with all these people in all these other countries and all these different people, man. Because they're all coming on board. They're all getting linked up. They're already got their banks all ready to go ISO 220 compliant, which is plug and play. Every bank is going to speak the same language. What does that mean? Okay. It's not going to take forever for this bank to communicate with that bank about the money, or if the settlement time or whatever the case may be, because it's going to be instantaneous, just like a text message, And then they're going to have bridge currencies that are going to be able to, settle in real time at the actual, market. What is it? It's called the market at the price what the going market rate is. You know what I'm saying? The rate. What's the rate at the current market rate, right? It'll settle in that at that rate in real time in the native currency. So that's why it's a bridge. So everyone's going to be on board. All the banks are going to speak, and they'll just settle. Let me tell you something, man. People have been so distracted by, watching all this other madness and all this other noise be put right there in front of you. But you got to follow the breadcrumbs. You have to follow the money. If you don't follow the money, excuse me, you're not going to really get a overall view. You're not going to overstand that board and see where you fall on the board. Are you a pawn? Pawn's going to be a pawn. Are you a rook? Are you a rook? Are you a queen? Are you a king? Are you a bishop? Are you a knight? I mean, do you have any value? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Now, so there's so many opportunities right now, but they're going to blast this thing off. And what were they were just waiting for? That Clarity Act. I think that has already passed. But leading up to, when they just announced this, that this coin has been granted approval to be the first blockchain bank, man, that to any crypto investor, bro, you know what that says? We're here. We're here now. And this thing ain't going nowhere. They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that themselves. It's not, blockchain technology is not going anywhere at all. It's going to be it's already a matter of all kind of security and all. It's just so much, bro. There's so much. And I really wanted to bring this information to you guys so you wouldn't miss out on an opportunity to probably position yourself on a board to generate you and your family some life-changing, you have opportunity to get you some life-changing investments going on. Hey, I appreciate those likes too, you guys, man. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. It's Sunday. We're having great weather here in North Carolina, man. I can't lie to you, man. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, though. Every time I think about it, I turn on the news, or I step outside, man. I hear so much and all this, things that are going on, and I'm like, well, I know that there's a lot that's happening every day out here, and it takes being focused and staying, the course to get through some of these, these hurdles and stuff that we have, because like you just had the market just crash. That could freak people out and take them out of, out of a humble mindset, and just kind of have them a little kind of like just really on edge and stuff. So I just encourage you to, sometimes you do have to just walk away and come back to a lot of things, man. Anything that's kind of worth, if it's a masterpiece and you're working on something that's really, means a lot to you and stuff. If you have a lot invested there, your time, your energy, your money, and it starts showing signs of frustration and stuff like that, you're putting in so much hard work and you're sweating over here, right? You don't want to never let them see you sweat, all right? I'm telling you. Walk away, go get some fresh air, take a deep breath, right? And you'll come back and see like it was a psychological challenge, actually. It wasn't the end all be all, because a lot of times these markets, they do, we were just in extreme fear a day or two ago. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say about the psychological challenges that people might be faced with when they're in, holding on to these assets, or, trying to, keep up on the, price movement. You watch it go up and you watch it come down. I mean, that's what a volatile market does. So, there's really no need to make no drastic, extreme, panic, buy or panic sell and stuff. You want to pace yourself. I've been, of course, buying, consistently all throughout the year during the crashes. And, I just wait for those right times. I put money to the side and wait, because, I'm not going to, I already figure anyway, coming toward the fourth quarter, most of the time the big boys want to take out some profits, minimize exposure, what they have on their books and stuff like that. And that will kind of have a drawdown on these markets. So it's always wise to kind of look at it from that standpoint and say, well, do I want to take profit, or do I want to just kind of like just wait till the price comes down and then add to my position, and thus, wait it out to the next higher high or the next all-time high to go in and then take my profit out. Because this is a long-term strategy. You have to really think, strategically, or you can get wiped out and lose it all, literally. And I know the feeling. So, um, but anytime new news and stuff like that comes out, I'm all over it. I usually, try to post in the community page. Um, One of the things that I do encourage, like Jackson saying, giving to charity. There's this during this holiday season right now, with a lot of people either having their their subsidies that the government would usually extend to them, having those things either cut back or being cut out, puts a lot of people in a situation where um, they may not know if they're going to be able to feed their families for the holidays, and just making it from one day to the next could be such a challenge. You have single parent households. You might have a young mother, very first child, and bringing a kid into this world is like having to see everyone around you suffer. Now it hits home. It can be so hard for that person to want to continue on, you know what I'm saying, and raise that child. So then you have people want to go abort, or they want to go and you know uh, have the child adopted or something, and rather than staying a part of that child's life, all because it can't basically support or feed. No one wants a crying infant, because when babies and infants are hungry, it's a different type of a cry. They're crying out. It's different from if they bump their bump head or something. Little babies, a lot of time they can't even sit up straight, and then they fall over, and they'll cry for that. But there's a different sound that they make, a different type of a cry. They're crying out for food and nourishment and stuff that they may not even otherwise get, if these people in the Congress don't get their acts together and make sure that everybody is getting those subsidies who need them. So I would encourage, like Jackson, go ahead if you can and make any effort, any and every effort that you possibly can to help someone who's less fortunate, especially with Thanksgiving dinners. I'm in this time we've made stuff in years and went and handed out, passed out baskets or passed out food or did stuff like that. And that's like a good feeling because it's a noble act, and you do, kind of have a, kind of a moral uplift, you know, you just morally feel uplifted, and in that regard. So it's not a bad thing, man. You know what I'm saying? But I encourage it. And of course, some of my Muslim brothers, you can understand that you are required to feed a nation. You know what I'm saying? To feed a village. That's part of the teachings. So, you will find that in those Islamic communities that they will be more charitable, maybe not so focused on, okay, I'm doing this because of a holiday, because they don't practice or celebrate the same holidays. But, as some of the other people's faith and beliefs do, because the calendar is pretty much, it's, it all surrounds pretty much the culture of the nation. So, but Islamic culture in the nation is not widely accepted and stuff, especially here in America. Some of the Islamic states and a lot of Islamic countries, they are allies of ours. However, we don't practice what their belief system is or some of the holidays. And I don't even think they have holidays, to be honest with you. I don't believe so. They don't traditionally do the holiday thing, you know. Um, but charity starts at home, of course. If you can't help out at home, I don't think you're going to go out into the world and make any difference there. You need to work on, building that village within your own community, start within your own household, you know, and a neighbor and stuff like that. And then you move on to the rest of the village. Um, but trying to be of some type of a good rapport or just encouraging, if hey man, I like to tell people stuff like, hey man, I know you probably, kind of just making it, what I'm saying, from one check to the next. But everybody should have some kind of a plan, you know what I'm saying, like some kind of an investment strategy, some type of a retirement, um, you know, fund or something. And then that gets me to think about, like the retirement thing. So like retirement life insurance policies and stuff like that we need to all, as truck drivers, you need to all look into, because if your employer doesn't offer that to you, then you need to have something in place that probably won't cost you that much, but will leave your surviving spouse or the family some money for to take care of whatever arrangements that need to be taken care of, any of your assets and things like that. They'll make sure that they get those assets and stuff, and you want to look into stuff like that too. You will be trying to make sure you're planning for um, a going away party. It's a celebration, going to a higher conscience, going to a higher, let's hope we're going somewhere higher, right? And not lower. But I believe in elevation, so you know what? As long as we stay positive, stay focused, man, But I like to encourage you guys. I love to, try to get up here and bring some information. I'm not a financial advisor. I do try to do some research to bring information to you that might be helpful financially. It might be just holistic, it could be, you know, some help you mentally, right? Holistic is for your healing, but if you need to mentally get your mind in the mic and the right and the mind and the you want to get in the right mindset, you know. Um, Subscribe to the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting up. I'm gonna be putting up the some of the Jews. I just don't want thrown on no swine. That's what they say. Don't throw your jewels to the pigs. On the swine. Don't give. I don't want it to go bad. Anyway, yeah, man, I'm gonna make this a live. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make this a public video. Thanks for the 2 people that are watching right now. I don't know if there were more people in here, but if you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow. I didn't work a couple days. Usually, I come on here in the mornings and do lives. We had some rain, and I had some things I had to do. Thank the Lord I didn't have to work, because I have been trying to get over to the bank, so I could take care of some business. I was able to do that, and during that time we had the big market crash. Everything came down, and I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. Otherwise, I would have been somewhere working and probably would have missed it. No reception where I'm working at. So that worked out fine for me. I was like, I couldn't ask for a better day off, but they just gave us the weather gave me that day off. And so the universe definitely presented that buying opportunity. The dip was a good one, and I sure took advantage of that. I should have loaded up even more, but I'm not greedy. I'm not greedy. Um, but yeah, that's it, man. It's Sunday. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It's about almost 12 noon. I'm gonna get off of here. Um, Still trying to use some of this. I was trying to share my screen. Still trying to learn how to do that. Um, but look forward to. I'm gonna do some things that I'm experimenting with stuff. I don't know this stuff like that very well. I'm not at all. I'll just click on certain things and see what they do. Right, try to link my phone and tie. That's probably why it's not doing it. I took the cord out. You do have to click. Oh, I can't do that because I gotta sit, man. Anyway, you guys have a great day. All right, I appreciate you guys that subscribe, that have been following me, holding me down. You know what I'm saying? Listening to me come up here and talk about some of the stuff that, may or may not be too much of an interest to you. But if it is, you find it as an interest, then that's good. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to stay here. You can always go to somebody else's channel. I don't pay. You don't pay to come here, right? So you don't have to be here. Most people are like, well, I'm paying for my subscription. I got to get something out of it. So they tune in, right? This is free. You know what I'm saying? This is a small community. We're trying to grow. So help me out there. And that's it. So, all right, man. I appreciate everybody, Jonesy and Jason, Jackson, Jason, Beanie, and whoever else, and the other guy from Russia. I can't even pronounce that. I don't even know how to read that, man. Yeah, that's that one. But okay. All right, man. So y'all go do the research on that Telcoin. Like I said, check it out. Pull it up and tell somebody, and tell them, right? And there's another thing. That price is under a penny. It's under a penny. Let me just show you some math real quick, okay? At the current market value right now, if you were to say you can get about 100,000 of these coins, I would put a challenge out there. I put a challenge up there. Get 100,000 of them. You buy 100,000, I buy 100,000. I'll come up here and show you I got self custody. And then by the time it get to 1 cent, I think it's about that'd be about $1,000 or so. Well, you probably would make every time it goes up a penny. You would probably make $1,000 every time it goes up 1 penny. Now that's not not financial advice. I'm guesstimating these numbers. I am guesstimating these numbers. Okay, so every time it goes up 1 penny, you'll make $1,000 if you have 100,000 of these coins, which you can currently get for around, I don't know what the price is, but I think it's well, you do the math. You do the math. Don't let me do it. You don't want to cheat off me. You cheat off me and try to cheat on my math cheat sheet, and you sit right next to me while we taking the test. You might fail. You might fail. Then again, you might just get all your questions right. You know what I'm saying? I usually use a calculator for this stuff. I have a calculator. I punch it in. I can see how much the stuff is, how much it costs, and how much, if I get so much, how much it's going to be. That's how I do it. But I've been doing this for a while. So you have to just develop your own math. The one thing you got to understand, either you're going to multiply or it's add, or it's the fact that it multiplies. Or you're going to take a loss and you're going to lose. So there's either going to be a positive or a negative effect. So let's just hope for the best and try to look at this thing as a chessboard, man. Try to find yourself on the board, man. Try to position yourself for success. While these prices are low. while the opportunity is still here, while we're still early in the adoption phase. You know what I'm saying? While things are just now starting to mainstream, because it took a few years to get here. I remember several years back, it was just hype and talk, right? But we did have real developers working on different projects. It wasn't like it was hype and talk. These people are genius. These are smart people, right? They're working on these projects, building up these applications and marketing them to different sectors of finance and business. Hey, this will help your system. This will help you, like it's like, okay, you want to do a spreadsheet. Well, this does it. It does it without you, so you kind of get the idea. Like these people developed this software, and it took some years before it got to where it is right now. This thing is getting ready to take off. Those prices are not going to be like that. I'm telling you, I don't even want to have to tell you, because then it's going to be, oh, you bragging. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I've seen numbers go from, 4 digits to 6 digits. You know what I'm saying? From 4 digits, that's roughly 1,000. That's 1,000. Or it could be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 9, up to 9 grand, right? Once you get past that to 10, now the 4 digits turn to 5. I've seen these things go from 4 digits to 6 digits. So you went from thousands to tens to hundreds of thousands. Can you afford to buy something that's 100,000 for just one? For just one. One pair of Nikes. Well, they were $1,000. Now we're asking $100K for, one pair. So, keep that in mind when you're doing your research. Look at the chessboard. Look and see where you are. Am I just a pawn? Do I even have potential to be a bishop, a rook, a knight, a king? You can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, but you got to think. Your next move has to be your best move, right? That's how we win, okay? So I'm going to leave you with that. Appreciate you guys for watching. Come back and join me. Check out some of my other videos. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Leave me a comment. All right, it's your boy Swizzy. I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. End this video. Did I end it?